Cool. I didn't know you had an Icelander, guys. This changes everything because I imagine that his body mass equals the rest of us combined. Thank you so much for having so much of the SnowGem team here. Recently, haven't done as many panels, so let's do just really fast. If everybody in this particular interview can introduce themselves, like about me in 15 seconds.
My name is Jakub Korbel. I'm from Czech Republic, and I'm the co-founder together with TXiD of SnowGem, which is privacy-based coin. And we are trying to bring something new to cryptosphere from 2017.
I'm TXiD. My name is Ting, and I'm co-developer of SnowGem.
Awesome. Welcome back, Ting. It's good to have you on the channel again.
Hi, my name is Ingvar, and I'm from Iceland. I'm part of the core team and also the management team with TXiD and with Dax.
Cool. I didn't know you had an Icelander, guys. This changes everything because I imagine that his body mass equals the rest of us combined.
Andrew, I'm part of the core team of SnowGem, and I am a crypto miner. Currently run a mining operation of about 80 graphics cards, and just been around the project since somewhat of the beginning, and you see where we're going to take it. From New York, by the way, United States.
My name is Kamil. I'm from Poland. I joined the core team 1 year ago, something around that. And currently I'm working on content now.
Apparently from the front page, this is kind of a big deal as far as the currently deployed features and then the upcoming roadmap. So glad you're on the call.
So I'm Schmocs. I am from Romania. I joined the core team also 1 year and a half ago. I started as a miner, then I joined the team, and I'm handling the Asgard development, so some integrations, the API, which we are going to talk a lot this night.
Phenomenal. Well, hey guys, thank you one and all for being on the call. This is awesome. Clearly, everybody brings something a little bit different to the project and obviously a value, right? That's the great thing about cryptocurrency and the great thing about blockchain in general is that, I mean, you can try to be one person who's a generalist and covers it all, but you don't get very far, right? So to have a bunch of people on a great team is helpful. So I'm glad you're all on the call to answer specific questions about specific different facets of the project. Let's start with a couple questions. If you've been looking at this series recently, we're really focused on this series on the topic of privacy. And this is a very personal topic for me. It's a kind of a personal itch that I'm trying to scratch, so to speak, in figuring out how can we be more private in not only cryptocurrencies at the protocol level and blockchain level, but also just help newcomers to the industry or help anybody who's already been in the industry or been around blockchain and cryptocurrency improve their personal operational security, their cybersecurity, and then understand how to improve their anonymity to the correct level in today's world. So there's going to be a little bit of that lens that we look at SnowGem through together. Just so you've been warned. Let's start with some of the basics. Just really briefly, SnowGem from a 30,000 foot view. As a project, is it a fixed coin supply or is it an infinite emission project?
Oh, there is a fixed number of the emitted coins, 81 million coins.
Okay, let's talk about the current available and then what the emission curve looks like. When will the last reward be emitted?
It's divided to masternodes, to miners, then some part is on treasury and developers fund. And we already mined around 21 or 22 million coins already. And there will be halving in about one and a half a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know from my mind exactly. So yeah, there will be halving, and yeah, we have still a lot of years for the future.
Okay, got it. And then does anybody know from the project off the top of your head what year the final block reward will be emitted?
I think another member of our team is knowing better all these numbers, but unfortunately he couldn't attend.
God, he's the one guy you couldn't get on the call. And it's the one time he couldn't come on too. It's like, jerk. Okay, no problem. So let's talk a little bit about, for some projects, the big goal is to become a replacement for cash or a replacement for some other transaction medium. And so they talk a lot about transactions per second. Is that something that the SnowGem team is focused on? And whether or not you are, what is the current amount of or number of transactions per second that your network will support?
I don't think that this is the problem. The problem is about the mass adoption, and with transactions per second, you can solve it by sidechains or some kind of Lightning network. So this is not the problem. Actually, we need to solve. Firstly, we need to bring the crypto to masses, which means, and what we are trying to do is as you can see the slogan on the website, a better cryptocurrency for everyone, which means at this crypto sphere, at this crypto world, it's pretty hard for newcomers, for normal people to use cryptocurrency. They know nothing about it. So we are trying to make it understandable for normal people, for normies. So that's the key point for SnowGem. And we are trying to at this moment, the actual thing what we are working on is, for example, credit cards. And with credit cards, it's much more easier to explain how the cryptocurrency works and how you can use it in your daily life. So this is one kind of thing that we are bringing to the people. And I think that's something what needs to be started with the mass adoption. And the second thing is that there is a language barrier, because only a few % for people all over the world speaking English, and the key point is to make all kind of ambassador in every country, the local ones, and they will talk with us. It's already happening, and we are explaining them how exactly cryptocurrency works and how to bring it to, for example, their customers in their shops, how to show it to the families. So it's some kind of relationships, like family relationships, and that's I think, the second most important thing, to translate it and to explain everything basically in the local native language to normal users.
Got it. Okay. And I appreciate that that's where you bring the conversation. Transactions per second, that really doesn't matter to the average user, we'll say. Normally, I think is fine, but it's a little bit loaded of a term.
They know, basically they know nothing about the technical things.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about it. We can talk about very technical things, but I think for normal users, it's not important. They just need to buy, for example, bread or ice cream, and they don't care how it does work.
Sure. That's totally agreed. You're going to love this story. I lived in Austin, Texas for some years, and I went to a fast food restaurant one day while I was on a lunch break, and the guy in line behind me was holding his iPhone, and he saw that there was a smudge or something on the screen, and he licked it with his tongue. He licked the screen of his phone to clean it off, and I wanted to stop the guy and say, hey, you know that there are studies that show that, like, the microbial makeup of, like, what's left on your phone, like there's human feces probably on your phone, among other things. It's like just gross stuff. But I figured, you know what? Apple loves this guy, right? As technologists, right? We should all, like, when we see a person like that, we should think, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity for me to make technology simple enough for that guy to buy my product.
Yeah. And that's the problem. By the way, when you are talking about this one, somebody tried to make the test from the thighs, and it was horrible. A lot of microbes over there, because thighs, not you are not washing it too often, the thigh. Yeah. So there was, and the same is on your phone, tablet, notebook. That's the same. So that's just a point. And about the privacy, that's the second thing you talk. I think that also you need to tell the people what is the privacy, because they are using Facebook, they are using WhatsApp, they are using Twitter, and all of these applications storing your data. But these users don't know anything about it. So it's also about education, why we are here, why we want to bring the privacy. Yeah. Because probably most of the users don't want to have the privacy.
Yeah,
They
well,
don't
certainly
care.
they just don't understand the importance of it. The value proposition of privacy is lower to them, less immediate to them than convenience, for sure. No, whether there's privacy or not, if it's not convenient for most people, then most people just won't opt into privacy. So yeah, totally agreed. Let's talk about some specific questions on the project, and then in four main categories. But the project, let's talk about proof of work a little bit. And I really appreciate that DarkUnknown is on the call, because as a mining operator, he's going to have some insight here, and he's going to. This channel was built on mining content, so anytime we have miners on the show, it's great. But we'll talk about proof of work. The third category will be privacy, and specifically as it relates to SnowGem, the features of privacy that it uses, the technologies such as ZK snarks, and how easy those are to implement for the user. And then the fourth category would be privacy opinions of the team members who are here on the call. So it'll be a little more opinion oriented. But the questions that I have about the project would be, in simplest terms, what is the unique technological advantage that SnowGem offers today in terms of features that are deployed that users can actually leverage? What makes it unique today?
Probably TXiD should say something about Thor's hammer protection.
We invented Thor hammers to prevent 51% attack. You can see our video in SnowGem channel in YouTube. I have a video about how I prevented it, how I prevent it from attacker, and all of our exchange was I using it.
Okay, great. TXiD, can I ask you, as far as the Thor's hammer protocol that SnowGem uses, is this similar to, say, chain locks on Dash, or similar to the DPoW used by Komodo?
I don't think it is the same. We use our Masternode system to store the correct blockchain, and when the chain was split, it will restore to the correct blockchain in Masternode.
Since implementing Thor's hammer, it sounds like 51% attacks have just not happened at all on SnowGem.
Yeah.
Because, we totally invented or reinvented the idea about the 51% double spending attack. Because firstly, you need to own more than 50% of masternodes, which is unreal, because there is no coins for that. Because already 60 or 70% coins are already locked. So some of the users in the decentralized exchange, or decentralized crypto, needs to sell all the coins, which is impossible. And the second thing, you need to create 51% attack while mining. So you need to first buy the coins, more than 50%, and then buy hash power. So it's totally nonsense. I mean, by the money talks or something like that, it's totally nonsense for the attacker to create it, because it's not, it's not rewarded for
Sure.
that.
So it sounds like the game theory incentives aren't aligned.
Yes.
So let me ask, I'll push back in a friendly way on this. What if there's just malicious intent? Just somebody who wants to mess your stuff up?
The 51% attack normally is, one thing as far as a probability, but you're stacking another layer of protection. It's like exponentially increasing the chances of it happening, of not happening. It's just the probability. It's as close to zero as possible. Then the current system that like Bitcoin has, or other the currencies can have, and you can see with Bitcoin and gold, with the most recent 51% attack, it's going to be a more common occurrence that happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. It sounds like then, as far as having to own over 50% of the coin supply in order to own more than 50% of the nodes, that has been enough of a deterrent in terms, from a game theory perspective, that you're not too worried about it. Let's just indulge me for a moment. If somebody were to purchase enough coins, we'll ask first, how many nodes are operational right now?
More than 1,000.
Okay.
You can see it in Asgard.
It's about it's over 1,300.
So shall I pull up Asgard right now?
Yeah. 1,363.
Okay, got it. So let's just say somebody needs to get
700.
7 million coins.
okay, so they need 7 million.
Yeah, 700 nodes, which means 7 million coins.
Got it. All right, so somebody needs to be willing to bear the cost of essentially throw away the cost of 7 million coins if they were if they had malicious intent and they just wanted to ruin stuff. They have to be willing to throw away that cost.
The problem is that there is only around 300,000 coins on the exchanges.
Yeah, so the wheeling is not enough. There's no supply to be bought.
Got it. Thank you for characterizing that for me more fully, or helping me do the math completely. I heard what you were saying as far as there being fairly limited supply available to purchase to execute the attack, but I didn't really know what that looked like yet. So appreciate that, guys. Thanks. Let me ask, as far as, so the unique advantage right now today, Thor's Hammer is a pretty big deal, it sounds like. And your project is positioned in such a way that there's great safety on the network from specifically 51% attacks and similar type hash attacks or other malicious attacks that are common in crypto. As far as the team that's actively building the technology for your roadmap, guys, you don't have to be humble, but if you had to distill it down to a couple of key contributors who are building technologies that make SnowGem a special project, who would you name right now? Who on the team makes SnowGem awesome?
We all are doing something to have the better project. So, yeah, for example, me, I'm just cleaning. I'm working mostly about for the marketing part and for the design and to have one unique product, for example. And then we have TXiD, which is the main brain for all the blockchain stuff. He is the Satoshi for me. So yeah, he is the main brain. And then we have also better brains than my brain, and they are developing the remaining parts of the SnowGem core program or core software. So we all are doing something, and yeah, it's not about one person. No, we are not like some government or something like that. We are working as a team, and we are trying to build something. What is awesome, I think, in this project is that we are developing constantly. If you look to our dev diary on Discord, you can see that we are developing almost all the 3 years, and there was no pause. And also we developed during the bear market. So we are trying, it's slowly going, but at the end we need to build the foundation, the strong fortress, and then we can build products on it.
Very, very cool. Yeah, it seems like a lot of teams did lose a lot of steam during the bear market. I mean, it can be hard to incentivize some members of a development team. You have to figure out what makes sense for each member of the development team. And marketing and everything else. It's great to hear that you did.
The problem which I can see in these projects which already abandoned or they paused the development is the lack of funds. And because they don't have funds, they are not delivering, or they shut down, they exit scam, I don't know. And that's not our problem, because we don't care about the price. We are here for the better future, and we are trying to do something with our world. I think it's not naive, but if you don't do that, then you are the same like other people, like the other sheep there. So we are not here for the money. Everything is transparent. You can see our faces, you can see our names on the team page. We already started a foundation, which means that's company which is transparent, not offshore company like other people do. So it's located here in European Union, in Czech Republic. So you can come for a coffee or tea. So we are totally transparent. And we are here for the people and for some change.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I hear you. As far as incorporating in certain territories that are sort of known to known to be a safe haven for scams. I mean, if you incorporate your cryptocurrency over in the British Virgin Islands, for example, or then it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that you have bad intentions. And
we have such experience with, for example, exchanges, with Asian exchanges. We lost a lot of Bitcoins over there. And it cost money, but at the end, it was a huge experience. And now we are dealing with scammers like, boom. They come to us and we know it's scammer. So it was experience.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to make it through that. Collabs, both collabs and giving back. I think one of the signs of really healthy open source development culture, and you see this a lot in the Linux and the rest of the open source development community, is when you collaborate and you give back to other communities or other projects whose code you borrow from or who you maybe lean on a little bit or build on top of. And sometimes that looks like just responsible disclosure, finding certain kinds of bugs in the code base that you've forked or that you're building on. And in other cases, other times it just looks like, okay, well, we found something because we're evaluating other technologies and we want to be responsible citizens of the open source community or the crypto community. What success stories does SnowGem have by way of collaboration and giving back?
Nice question. If I can,
Okay,
TXiD.
You can talk first.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Some other projects fork from our Schmocs, and they are developing it, such as I forgot that project. Vidulung, Vidulung project. They fork from our code, right? That's
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Vigilum had forked from SnowGem. I apologize. I haven't looked closely at them though.
And we have some other small project to help them overcome some errors, and they also helps us to find. They suggest us some other good exchange or something good to improve our so-called and we have some other small project to add them to our wallet. We have modern wallet, right? And on I can say is we have others than they will have it.
That's great to hear. I think especially in the cryptocurrency space, blockchain and cryptocurrency, it's just kind of a love-hate relationship, right? With forked projects where it's like, hey, our team worked so hard on all of these features and functions, and all you did was hop into GitHub and press fork, right? That can be upsetting. But if you're there to support some of those projects and show that you're willing to sort of to be sort of like a grandfather, right, to these other, like a parent figure to these splinter projects, then I think that can foster some serious goodwill. I'm just going to mention briefly that I think a project that does this really well in the CryptoNodes space, not so much in the Satoshi-like ZK Snark-oriented coins like SnowGem is or with Masternodes. But with CryptoNodes, I think that TurtleCoin does this really well, where they actively encourage some of the community to fork their repo, and then they support them after they do. I don't know if that's going to work out for them in the long run, but they do have a lot of friends in the developer space. So when they need help, they've got a lot of favors to call in. So that's awesome that you guys have been friendly with Vigilum.
Yeah, and the thing is maybe that although this is a very competitive market, like we all know, there are not that many people that are actually buying new coins now. And the more people we help, the more likely it is that we actually get some new customers in the future that are new community members that are willing to invest in our coin. It's just in the benefit of the entire ecosystem, in my opinion, at least. To get new people in, and we need more good people in the cryptocurrency sphere. So helping is awesome, basically.
Yeah, no, Ingvar, to your point, I mean, clearly they're convinced that there's value in your project. Otherwise they wouldn't have forked it, right? I mean, so they've at least bought in to that extent that they're willing to put in sweat. So hopefully they're also stakeholders in the coin itself.
Yeah, and basically, like when you remember the 2017 boom and the beginning of 2018, is that there were so many new people coming in, and it's easy to credit the extreme prices at that time. There were so many new people coming, and if you don't get any new people, the prices are going to stay the same. That's the thing, basically.
Yeah, awesome. You mentioned that the Vigilum team there's been some goodwill there. Have there been any specific problems in terms of the code base, either for SnowGem or Vigilum, where one team or the other has found, I don't know, things like inflation bugs, or you've noticed that there have been a problem with botnets, or you suspect there have been botnets or hash attacks, and just anything that's been sort of from the outside as a malicious attempt to harm the network that you guys have been able to overcome?
If I remember good, then we every time found a bug in Zcash directly. We fixed it in our chain, and they will fix it maybe in 1 year, half a year, maybe never. So, yeah. But at the end, we have some kind of private room for all the Zcash clones. So we are trying to cooperate. It's some kind of alliance. And yeah, when we find some kind of bug, or somebody else find it, they will post it to this Alliance hub, and we try to fix it. If I remember good, the last bug, I mean a big bug, which I think it's still not solved in Zcash, is with memo field. So yeah, you was able to attack really for the cheap price or Zcash and all the clones via this memo field, because you can send some kind of message when you are trying to send from A to B. Then you can place some message, and there was a possibility to attack via this kind of transaction, and we fixed that, and then all the forks fixed too. But we have some kind of different fixation for that, or fix. So this is what I remember. It's maybe almost half a year, maybe a year, something like that. But yeah, basically we are trying to cooperate. And what I still think about the crypto is that you need to be friends with everyone. And crypto is about the cooperation, not competition. But most of the projects, I mean, top 50 or top 100 coins, it's the opposite. They are trying to be competitive, and that's something what will not succeed, I think. Yeah, because yeah, if you look to Bitcoin, then yeah, it's totally closed. The code is closed. You cannot contribute to the main base, but at the end, it's some kind of example how cooperation can work. We have still the Bitcoin maximalist, which says we have only Bitcoin, then we have Satoshi vision, but at the end all these people are cooperating and it works. And then you have a bunch of coins which is not collaborating together. And what they did, they have wallets, okay, they can make the transactions, okay, and for example, there is a school for crypto educations, for example, where, yeah, excluding Binance, but Binance is they can do it. I think they already sold 8,000 protections against the coronavirus 2 days ago, by the way, and wow, invested some money to the healthcare or something like that. But if you look to the normal projects, top 10 to top 50, then yeah, they are trying to develop some more technical way, how to send more transactions. I don't know, how to be faster. But at the end, yeah, you still need to educate the people, and you need to say them, hey, crypto is the future. And what I think is that they are not doing it. They have a lot of money for that, and they are not doing it. So for us, for the smaller projects, it's up to us, because we have still the vision, we have still the drive. And when you are sitting on the gold nuggets, then you are sometimes you are getting to be lazy, and then we have the smaller projects, and it's up to us to change something. So at the end, we need to cooperate. That's it.
Sure. Hey, I agree there 100%. And as you know, this is the reason that I'm always happy to interview, especially smaller projects and open source projects of any nature that are scrappy, lean, and young. To your point, it's difficult to tell a larger project that they need to innovate when their incentive is to merely stay stagnant, right? Just maintain market leadership. And you see it in big tech as well, right? What's the last major feature you remember Google delivering that you were excited about?
Sure.
Can you remember?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
by the way, yeah, you can talk.
Maybe the Pixel phone. It was the last thing I was actually excited about, but that's not a feature. That's a product.
Right. Yeah. So and I'm talking about things like so when Google Docs launched as a platform, that was huge. That was game changing, right? When they added calendar functionality, because they didn't launch with calendar functionality, that was huge. And Gmail, I mean, I was an early user when Gmail was in early beta, and they meant it. That was revolutionary compared to the idea of searching for emails that you may have just not have opened. That was revolutionary compared to Hotmail or anything else that was available at the time. And so that level of innovation, where they created a whole new category of service or product that their users would stay within the ecosystem to enjoy, I think those days are long gone.
Yeah, they killed Yahoo.com. So.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
the process.
does anybody really miss it though?
Yeah.
There's really no innovative tech out there anymore. Like with all Apple, after Steve Jobs, I just think like he had like his 3 or 4 years that succeeded him, and there was just no more innovation. We got more cameras on these phones, but we're trying to get all this technology out, but we're not focusing on like looking with the technology that we have and fine tuning it now and just building off of that. It's just.
Yeah, totally agreed. And Dax, to your point, I think that the same is true within cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stagnation in some of the larger market cap coins. They don't have much incentive to change, because what they're interested in is keeping their brand the same as the institutional investors who became interested in them 5 years ago saw them. They have incentive to stay the same, because those institutional investors want them to be something familiar.
What is totally awful, but what is totally awful is that you are reading Twitter and the top readers of the top 3 or 4 coins are saying nonsense to the audience, to the public, instead of doing something for the public. I mean, like for the school, for the education. They can go to the college and they can speak about the cryptocurrency as it is, not only about Bitcoin Satoshi vision. No, we have cryptocurrency. We are fork of Bitcoin. Also, we are fork of Zcash, but Zcash is fork of Bitcoin. So at the end, Bitcoin was the first. That's the true. Yeah, that's the gold. So at the end, they need to say the whole thing, not only that this is the best thing for the investment. No, it's really, really awful. And I think it's just a matter of time, and the user will reveal it, and they will know that this is a fake. It's fake news.
That's the first one in the interviews. All right, so Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency. # fake news. All right. So awesome, yeah, very well spoken, very well said. As far as the amount of education that needs to take place, I think that if cryptocurrency in general as an industry is young, kind of in its adolescence, maybe not even really in its adolescence, then to your point, we need to do a lot of educating. Let's switch gears here, guys, into proof of work. Or I'm sorry, before I do that, let me ask you on the roadmap, what unique tech advantages or features is this team excited about on SnowGem? What's coming up that for people who maybe aren't familiar with SnowGem and are just looking at it would get them to think, I need to look closely at this project?
I think Sergio, the Schmocs, can talk about Asgard at this moment, but because That's the nail gun or rail gun, for us.
The idea of the new version of Asgard is exactly to facilitate a lot of things. Among them is what Doug said, to make easier for the newcomers to do every step, which involves buying SnowGem through our API, using the card, Mastercard card which we will have, buying hosting for the Masternode, and enjoying the rewards. So in the end, we want this Asgard second version to be a full RESTful API that will manage a lot of things. Also the IPFS content nodes that will produce also rewards, and a lot of details which I cannot speak about them now, but this is the main idea, to facilitate the entire process of buying, using, and benefiting of the Masterword rewards, which is like a bank account. You get interest by holding coins.
The key point why we created it was that we constantly answered questions on Discord, how to set up Masternode. We have this kind of problem, blah, blah, blah. We need to update, how to update. So we focus how we can solve this. And we prepared a solution, which is Asgard, which manages all the nodes, or now it's around 600, so almost the half. And with this kind of tool, we are able to update nodes in just a few seconds. And that's something what other people or other projects doesn't have. And by the way, we built a testing network on the real network, on the real Masternodes. That's something probably unique. So we are testing everything in real environment on all the managed nodes. So we, for example, we need 6 pools, we need some kind of Masternodes. So we created testing environment on the real Masternodes, on the user Masternodes. So that's why we could also, there was a possibility to create the Taurus hammer, because we tested on our real network, on the testing net or testnet.
Also, the voting, which we added later, the voting option in our modern wallet was also tested using masternodes on the testnet, real masternodes.
When we found some bugs, we are able to test it also on the testnet, and then deploy immediately on all Asgard nodes, which is more than half of the total percentage of the network. And then we announce it to the normal users, which are not managed by Asgard. And they will just update it in a few days, and we are okay. That's something what you cannot see on the other projects. It's almost impossible to update all the nodes on the network. Then you can have change plates, you can have some kind of issues with transactions. So we solved that by the Asgard, and by the way, with the announcement for the Masternode owners, because all the owners are registered in Discord. So we are able to communicate with them immediately.
Okay, so it sounds like then you have gone beyond having a simple masternode scheme wherein masternodes do transaction validation into having a bit of more of a value-added service node scheme. Does that sound accurate, or is it more that the orchestration layer that you put together is a value add?
More of the orchestration level.
There's only really one downside to this. Because Asgard is working so well, it kind of looks like the Discord channel is kind of dead half of the time, because people are not asking questions about how to set this up. When I look to other Discords, it's basically just constantly teaching people and showing people how to set up the nodes. That's all it is.
Good job.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so for you guys, silence is golden. That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. And so the revision to Asgard is when is that coming out?
It's already working, and we are working on the brand new version. And with this version, we will come with own hosting solution, because we have shared data centers now in Europe, but we will open also data centers in the United States, because we need it also for some future services like decentralized VPN and other stuff. Then we will integrate content nodes, which is based on IPFS, directly to the Asgard. So you will be able to create a decentralized application, including with the database, and run it on the SnowGem network. And Kamil can talk about it a bit.
I mean, for me, selfishly, I'm very interested in you running content nodes or IPFS nodes on top of your node network. Anybody who creates content, of course, is interested in how do I decentralize? How do I make sure that YouTube can't just shut me down if they feel like it? But especially in the cryptocurrency space, this has been a problem recently with crypto content creators being either demonetized or fully delisted from YouTube. So if you want to leverage SnowGem, the SnowGem ecosystem for solving that problem, great.
Only one problem with IPFS and all the decentralized stuff, and that's the bad content there. I mean, child porn or animal porn or something like that, or I don't know, talking about war and other stuff. So you have still something that you need to solve on IPFS. I think we found some kind of solution, but at the end you need to control it from one side, and that's the problem of the decentralization. You can create a whole network which will be decentralized, but at the end, when somebody comes to this network and posts, for example, child porn or something like that, it's not good, and we need to control it somehow.
Yeah. Well, to your point, that's with IPFS as a CDN, right? A content distribution network. That's or rather, being the main sort of content repository for a content distribution network. It is a problem overall, but platforms that then are used to show the content or host the content or aggregate links to that content, that's the only area in which you then have the power to curate, right, what shows up, and then comply with takedown notices, or just use your best judgment to say, hey, we don't want to post links or embed codes for any content that, say, for example, features quail, because we don't like quail. Quail are the worst birds, so we won't show any content that shows quail. Then that's up to you.
Have you had a bad experience with that? Or?
No, it's just I'm using a non-offensive example.
Yeah.
Whatever. We don't like quail, right? We prefer ducks. Yeah. Ducks are better.
Who likes quails?
Yeah, nobody, right? Yeah. I'm glad you helped everybody just see very clearly, from Iceland to the United States. Quail, down with quail. So.
Okay, so Kamil, can you talk a bit about Draupnir, about the content nodes?
Okay, so in short words, user will be able to store his data. This data will be encrypted and distributed along many nodes. This will give us ability to, because we can have a situation when half of the user will sell off their content nodes because of bull market, for example, and the entire system will work in that way that that kind of situation will not hurt your content. It will not disappear. We will use super secret algorithm for distributing that data, so I will not mention it right now. What else? All data will be private.
Yeah, you need to have the key. Yeah,
you need to have the key.
Okay, so it sounds like, but private and persistent is kind of the key feature there, is that it'll be persistent and redundant, so there's no loss.
And also there will be a storage market. So you, as a hosting provider, will be able to earn money depending on how good services do you provide. And there will be kind of ranking. So if you decide to use cheap hosting, then you can use some storage providers from the bottom of the list. Okay, it's up to you.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
in the enterprise cloud offering, even Amazon offers the different tiers of storage, right? The sort of deep storage where you can keep things. Is it a Glacier tier? I think is of their storage on S3. So
yeah, but the problem is they will read all of your images from your bathroom. Yeah.
Exactly. No, this is not me endorsing Amazon at all. I'm just saying that if they've got that offering, then we need that offering in the decentralized space, right? So that's great.
Yeah. In this situation, we will have PGP key in the beginning. So you will just log into Asgard. You want to, for example, store image. Then you will upload the image. And during this, it will create also the PGP key. So only if you have the PGP key on the endpoint, you can show the image.
Nice.
All the data in the network on the IPFS will be decrypted, and then you need to encrypt it on the endpoint.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, making IPFS usable for people who don't want their content borrowed by everybody else, stolen by everybody else. Awesome. Yeah, guys, thanks for going through that. I think that's going to be a tremendous value to people like myself who are interested in decentralized content. And clearly the need is growing. I'm sure you're evaluating that market demand. It's growing. That's awesome. What else is coming up on the roadmap for SnowGem that people who maybe aren't familiar with the project would get excited about?
The most closest thing or product that we are developing instead of Asgard version 2 is Light Wallet. The code name is CoinGuard at this moment. We are still not decided if this will be also the final product, the name, the CoinGuard. But yes, simply it will be a wallet which will be usable on all the platforms like Android, iOS, desktop. And we will integrate a lot of coins, only friendly coins, not Bitcoin, Satoshi. Just kidding. And this light wallet will also integrate Masternodes. So you will be able to manage your Masternodes. So you can check the rewards if everything is okay, the monitoring if you have enough space on your node, including content nodes. So it will be some kind of monitoring. Then we will release also shared node service because we have own hosting service. So you will be able to passively stake money directly in the wallet on the shared nodes. The main point will be that you will not send the coins to us, but it will stay in the wallet and we will reward you. So that's the also key change, because normally you need to send coins to the third party service or to some company, and they will create a masternode when they have enough coins and you are receiving the rewards. We are going totally opposite way. We don't need to send the coins to us, so it will stay in your wallet. So that's the shared node service. And then we will integrate also the content node part. So you will be able to push content directly from your wallet, like images, or in the future also some kind of chat. And the most valuable will be credit cards. Yeah, we will be able to integrate credit cards with any of the asset in the wallet. So you will be able to load up your credit card with the crypto and go shopping anywhere on the world, because our issuer is Mastercard. We are the holder of the Mastercard license. And for now, it's over 10 million places where you can spend the money with Mastercard. So that's something what will be really, really cool. So I will be finally able to buy lunch with the crypto. And
I mean, I think the pushback you may receive from crypto purists is that you'll buy it at a 2 to 3% premium though in paying Mastercard their fee. But I hear you. That is exciting to have your own entry point.
you need to start with something. So yeah, when we will be bigger, then we can negotiate much more better fees. So I think that's not the problem for the users, because at the end they will receive rewards from Masternodes and they can buy bread, ice cream with that. So it's totally passive money, and you can spend it in your daily life, which is life-changing, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, this is it sounds like there's a lot to be excited about in terms of the upcoming roadmap, some of the project, some of the other facets of the project that you're working on right now, and having that. You mentioned being the MasterCard holder, rather you mentioned specifically being a license holder or having an exclusive deal with the SnowGem team to be able to issue cards that are then attached to this multi-wallet, multi-currency, essentially, gateway for MasterCard. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Correct.
Yeah, awesome. Very exciting. Let me ask.
Yeah, by the way, we have already 4 or 5 partnerships. And this kind of partners want to start from the beginning. So we will probably start with around 15 or 20 coins, and then we will add more. So if you ask us in the end of this year, we will be able to send in more than maybe 100 coins, something like that, because it will be much more easier to integrate coins. TXiD prepared very nice backend for it. So we will be able to add all the ERC coins like Ethereum and other forks. We will be able to add Zcash and other forks. We will be able to add Monero, everything. So all the coins will be there, and it will just depend on you which coin you want to use for the credit card. That's it.
Very cool. As it is right now, the plans for this product, do you intend to allow users to switch between coins for funding the card?
Yeah. That's something what I missed also. There will be swap service, because we are starting official exchange as a SnowGem exchange. It will be decentralized exchange. So yes, we will be able to swap coins between, and also to fiat, and you will be able to send the fiat money to your bank account from our account.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like then there's some very big things in the works, including maybe an official announcement of liquidity partners. Then, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm excited to hear more about that, because that bodes well for the project. So I'm kind of bummed. I wish we could talk more about it, but clearly there's a lot that you wouldn't want to or legally be able to talk very much about openly with that. So
yeah, but it's totally it's hard to tell something now in the crypto sphere. Yeah, that's another problem of the crypto as it is. As I talk about Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, for example, and what they are saying on the Twitter to the public audience, then it's pretty hard for a smaller project to say something, because we just announced that, hey, we have credit cards. Nothing happened. Only few projects that they will know what it means joined us and asked us, hey, we want to be with you. So yeah, it's pretty hard to talk with these bigger projects in top 50, top 100. They have own solutions, they have own teams, they have own vision. So I think it's almost impossible to tell something. Only time will show us what's good for the world.
Okay. Well, let's change gears then and talk a bit about proof of work and our consensus in general for SnowGem. As it is today, what percentage of the block reward goes to proof of work mining?
I need to look to the website.
No, so we have changed it a couple of times over recently. Not recently, but in the times. I think it's currently at 9 coins.
9 coins.
It's 9 coins for the reward, and then it's 9 coins for the also the Masternode reward. No. See?
Yeah, development fund. Sorry for that, because we changed it a few months ago. So
DarkUnknown is like, all right, so and we're going to change it a couple months from now. So also one for DarkUnknown.
No, it's just
I'm writing an improvement proposal. It could happen.
It's adapting with the. It's unfortunately having to adapt to the price. It's like we have to treat this as somewhat of a hobby. If developers, even with the developers fee right now, it's nothing. We can't even really. They can't even do anything to do it. If we need to get the funds and sell it into market, you can't sell into market. You have to do separate OTC trades and. But you build up reputations like that. But it's just definitely a market that's always changing. We always have to adapt to, and we can make the changes as they come.
To your point, also when you're having you don't want to dump coins, you don't want to do that to your own project, right? Slit your own throat. So like you're saying, when you have nobody likes to call them sponsors, but when you have sponsors, right, liquidity partners, people who are true believers in the project and who are willing to exchange fiat in order to fund certain aspects of development. I mean, it's still helpful.
But at the end, if you have no money in the beginning, then you have better results in the end. Because if you look, for example, to exchanges, ICOs, they started with tons of money, millions. And just because you are sitting on the bunch of money, you are doing nothing because you are still backed up by the money and you don't need to do anything. But when you have no money, then you have much more drive, and in the end, it will bring much more things and the products at the end. So what I think, it's better to have no money in the beginning, and it sounds maybe bad, but I think. When you look, for example, to Google or to Microsoft, they also started in garage, and then now it's totally different. So what I think is it's better to have almost zero money in the beginning because you will develop much more things.
Yeah, no,
only my 2 cents.
Sure. Oh, and I can appreciate that, and I agree to an extent. If you have to err on the side of one or the other, probably better to err on the side of being underfunded and hungry and ready to prove yourself. Is there any other consensus mechanism used other than proof of work right now? For example, is there any kind of proof of stake or specific consensus mechanism that your masternodes use?
Currently, we don't think we will move to proof of stake soon. We will keep our proof of work. Yeah. So,
okay.
And about Masternode, we still are thinking about how to use it effectively, and it's under discussion. And all I can say now is we will keep our proof of work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We had also voting because we have voting capability on the network, and 95% was against proof of stake. So we need also to stick to the deal with the community. And we decided to leave proof of stake at this moment and stay at proof of work.
So only proof of work for consensus. As far as the percentage of block reward that apparently has recently been kind of revisited and changed a little bit, has there ever been a percentage of the block reward issued to any other party that you hadn't mentioned before? Was there a change recently that stopped issuance to another party? And in the future, do you foresee there being a percentage of block reward going to any party other than masternode holders, proof of work miners, the dev team, and then the security fund?
Sure. To me, I need Lambo.
I don't think there would be any sort of like outside influence, I guess you could say. If we need money, we wouldn't compromise the integrity of doing something like that. I don't see that ever being a thing. If anything, it would be pulling funds more towards the miners or towards the masternodes, or if we needed to do some advertising wise or have an outside investor to get a portion of the blockchain, we'll be like every one of these other companies, like a public company, and be driven by greed and won't get us really too far.
Yeah, so it sounds like any needs you have in the future, you'll just cover with the block reward and percentage breakdown as currently allocated. You'll just figure out what you do with the block reward as it is now.
As tricky as it may sound, the struggle is real, but yeah, it's gonna, you know, somewhat have to be like that, and you know, just bring value and really build our market cap due to bringing value into the market and people using our products. More along the lines of, we're going to need to encompass some sort of, you know, like a fee, maybe with the swap service, you know, a % or two here or there, and really just, you know, make it meet like that, but just really bringing value to the space and just converting on percentages a little bit here and there on the fees, and use that to drive exchange listings and everything like that we would need the capital for.
You mentioned that you have a definite commitment to proof of work in the future, and that's going to be the consensus mechanism for the foreseeable future. Let's talk a little bit about the arms race that is proof of work mining. And I know that this is where DarkUnknown we'll have some really great conversation, right? Because you can start with any algorithm and it's probably mineable by a CPU until the net hash goes up. And ultimately, you've got to find a way to start mining on GPU. And then if you wait long enough, you'll find a really clever person who can write a bitstream for an FPGA. And then you'll find some shadow group, if the incentive is high enough in China, and they'll go and they'll create an ASIC. Where do you guys see all of proof of work mining going in general in the industry? And then with SnowGem, and what do you view as a reasonable decentralization of hash rate?
Personally, the whole aspect of the GPU mining being somewhat trumped by ASICs, and now FPGAs obviously do have me worried because I'm a GPU miner at heart, and everybody has a GPU in their computer. It only makes sense. That's the best way to decentralize anything. If everybody is, you know, say somewhat playing a game on their computer with their graphics card and just doing a decentralized network, nobody's going to have an ASIC miner and have it as a doorstop 3 to 4 months later. It doesn't really get the user too far. I just really think the adaptation of the FPGAs though into GPUs, I'm curious to see how that's going to work out as far as not ASIC resistant, you need to be FPGA resistant. So it's definitely something that's going to be interesting to see. But you know, FPGAs are most likely the next running and to take over the GPU mineable coin. So it's a bit tricky, but you know, adapting is what happens.
Xilinx had an internal memo leak that showed that they are planning to release a $1,000 FPGA that has 8 gigs of HBM2 memory on board and has a logic cell count that really, really should scare most GPU miners, because you're now in the territory of the same price of, say, an RTX 2080 Ti, cheaper actually, and it's a mining-only part. There are no I/O ports on it. There's nothing other than a power port and then PCI Express connectivity on PCIe 4.0 at that. So it's next-gen connectivity. But it's adapted from their enterprise line for data centers, and so it's a highly performant piece of silicon. And I don't know. Do you guys view stuff like that as a threat? If I told you that I could get that part for $500, and then you thought I was motivated to go get a bitstream created to mine SnowGem, what would your response be?
I think FPGAs are friends at the end. ASICs are not friends. But I have a friend with a huge mining farm. It's the biggest miner here in the Europe. He owns hash power, which is similar to almost 70% of Ethereum, and if he wants to mine it, or almost 80% of Zcash. So it's a huge, and this kind of players will not change to FPGAs. No, they bought the GPUs and ASICs in the beginning, and they have stored the value into this kind of hardware, and they will not buy it. And at the end, the question is how many units they will be able to produce. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the marketing, because the benefit of NVIDIA's and AMD is the marketing. And they have a huge platform for the gamers. So it will be pretty hard to enter this market. what I think.
The leaked memo from Xilinx it made it clear that they intended to seek out qualified buyers and sell direct to data centers that already offer cloud services. And it's a splinter from one of their current market offerings for data centers from the Alveo line of data center cards. So the intent is to, like, for example, I hate to bring up Amazon twice in a conversation. I don't like giving them free marketing, but AWS, sure, allows for, they have some FPGAs in their platform. So if you wanted to spin up a VPS that had FPGAs in it, you can choose to have some FPGAs now. And so these are parts that already exist. Xilinx is just streamlining them to make them more suitable for mining and decrease the cost to produce them.
Another story is that I heard about FPGAs in early 2017, and now it's 2020 and still nothing. Yeah, so yeah, it's just the fake news again. When they start, we need to adopt. But at the end, I think FPGAs are friends because it's not too massive as ASICs. I think that China, like Bitmain, will not start to produce it massively. So I think it will be on a few units. I mean, 1,000. What is 1,000? We have millions of GPUs. So at the end, it's something what we don't need to take care a lot. And by the way, if something huge will happen, like when the Bitmain releases Z9 Mini, then we are a small project and we can adopt in just weeks or maybe days, not as the big projects which will need to integrate months, maybe years. So if something will happen and we need to react, we will react, and very, very quickly.
I'm glad to hear that you're okay with FPGAs on the network. There are a few projects that are, and then there are some others that apparently don't want to deal with FPGAs on their network.
I think you are talking about Ravencoin.
Yeah, Ravencoin is they seem to be kind of undecided, but mostly okay with it. Hard to understand. Their response was sort of like, we're going to fork our proof of work algorithm anyway, so maybe we'll throw the FPGAs for a little longer. But
I think it's also boring for miners when you need to change a miner every 2 or 3 months.
I was just going to say that when Dax just brought up with when I first started out, I started out with the milk crate builds with 6 R9 290Xs, and I didn't really even know. That was back in the day when mining programs weren't even really a thing. I had to do the line code and everything like that. And that was, the mining rig would go down every 4 or 5 hours. I was troubleshooting so much. And now I don't know if that was AMD in general, but I have NVIDIA's now. I'll never turn back. But the whole out of the box, like ASICs are one thing, out of the box plug in and plug and play. You have the FPGAs though are going to need a little bit more fine tuning, and the mass adoption might not fully get there, but if they're so powerful as much as they are, it's definitely going to get there. It just depends on,
that's another good point. You need to be experienced user, experienced miner to use FPGAs. Also, cooling is also a problem. When you have more FPGAs, then you have problem with cooling. And then you have also problem with normal GPUs. If you have it in one room, it's problem with the heating, because if you overclock GPUs to 55, 60 degrees and you have, for example, 50 GPUs, then you have a problem with the heating. So that's also something what you need to solve. So it's not only about the mining, about the programming, but it's also about the environment. And that's something what you will not see in the home users, in the home environment.
Makes sense. The decentralization definitely is in favor of GPUs for the at-home miner, the person that's experimenting with just a gaming rig when they're not otherwise playing video games. So awesome. It sounds like then from the SnowGem team, maybe you'd prefer to have people who are on GPUs, or sounds like you don't really care. As long as they're not on ASICs, you don't care.
Sure. Well, we are ASIC resistant, so we don't care about ASICs.
As far as maybe forking proof of work, you haven't mentioned any plans to fork your proof of work algo. What would cause you to consider forking your proof of work algo? What kind of a threat would it require?
I think that's hard to say because we are not that kind of ecologist. Personally, me, I'm mining on the biogas plant, so I have almost free power. But yeah, that's something what you can count with the electricity and about the costs. Because if you are looking to banking system or data centers, it's much more power. So what I think, the only thing why we want to change from proof of work is that we invent something better, because we have the masternodes, and that's something we are looking for. Because when you need to buy VPS or you have computer at home, then it's nonsense to have another hardware which consumes electricity, for example, which needs to maintain, then use only this masternode. So if we will fork to proof of stake or masternode proof of stake, then it will be only because it will be nonsense to have two validating algorithms, and that's it.
In terms of a customer avatar type question, who do you want mining for you? If you've put thought into that, what does that person look like? The person that you'd ideally have mining SnowGem?
I think anybody can mine it, but we are not searching for mining farms, of course. Nobody's searching for that. By the way, when we are talking about mining, we just talked today about the mobile mining, because the Light Wallet will or can have some kind of capability of mobile mining. So at the end, anybody with mobile or tablet will be able to mine SnowGem. Yeah, so which is pretty cool.
I wonder how Zhash would do on ARM.
Yeah,
my phone. I'm pretty sure it'll blow up.
It will be some kind of fun. Yeah. It will be some kind of staking, but at the end, it will show the regular users, the normal users, what is mining, and at the end, you can educate them how to mine, for example, on the computer with that.
Okay.
So at the end, we invite all the good people without ASICs, without some kind of big hash farms. And yeah, we are open for everyone.
Let's talk a little bit about privacy, guys. TXiD is just waking up, apparently. So actually, he's ready to go. Right?
It's 5:30 a.m. here, and I'm quite sleepy. Sorry.